Hello retro fans! This demonstration is about bootstrapping bare metal Apple II computers using audio connections. The problem we're trying to solve here is bringing an Apple II back to life when there's no software available to you on physical floppies. You want to take part in the retro computing scene but can't get disk images from the internet down to your Apple. No problem. Armed with a couple of audio cables and lots of patience, here's how. We'll start with an Apple IIe computer. Any Apple II with 64K of memory will do, but the 2C and 2GS lack the cassette interface. Here's a close-up of the cassette connectors on the back of a 2E. We'll connect the right side, or cassette in, with a white audio cable. We'll connect the left side, which is cassette out, with a black audio cable. We'll show how to connect the other end to a host computer in a bit, but first we'll show a couple more Apple II examples. Here's a 2 Plus. The labels are in English this time. The white cable goes to cassette in again, and the black cable goes to cassette out. This is a so-called backpack on the back of an Apple-manufactured Bell & Howell computer. Again, the white cable goes to cassette in, and the black goes to cassette out. On the host computer, we want to connect the Apple's cassette in, the white wire, to the host's speaker or headphone jack. And the Apple's cassette out, the black wire, goes to the host's microphone jack. Here's a sound card on a PC. We connect the Apple's cassette in, the white wire, to the host's audio out jack. The Apple's cassette out, the black wire, goes to the host's microphone jack. You'll want to consult your operating system's handling of sound input and output devices to make sure you're selecting the microphone versus line in, and adjust the volume to be about halfway up. On my PC, I found it helpful to use this advanced option of Mic Boost. Your mileage will vary. You want to adjust your system volume level, however you do that, to be about halfway up as well. And now we can start the Apple. We want to hit Control Reset immediately after starting it to be sure it doesn't load anything from disk. And the first thing we do after starting the ADTPro server on the host is to tell it to use the audio connection. Then select Bootstrapping, ProDOS, and send ProDOS. Now we're told to enter a couple of commands on the Apple. The first one is call -151 and return. This gives us the asterisk prompt. And the second one is 2000.607CR and hit return. Now the Apple is listening for code to come down the wire. Now we can dismiss the dialog box at the host and it will start sending ProDOS. This will take a minute or two, so we'll fast forward this to the end. When it finishes, we expect to hear a beep and see a dialog box telling us what to do next. If instead you get a beep and an ERR message, that means that something went wrong and you need to try again. But if everything went well, we just get a new prompt. And the next command to run is 2000G, which will start the kernel of ProDOS. Now back on the host, it tells us to send a copy of the ADTPro audio client to the Apple. We dismiss the dialog box, click on Bootstrapping, ProDOS, and send ADTPro audio client. Now we're instructed to enter some more commands. We can ignore the call -151 command since we're already looking at the asterisk prompt. And the next command will vary with each release of ADTPro, so read your local dialog box to get the real numbers. But they will be something like 2000.54C0R and hit return. Now the Apple is listening for more code to come down the wire. Now we click on OK on the dialog box back at the host, and the code for the ADTPro audio client is streaming down to the Apple over the cassette port, sending it directly to memory. We'll speed this up again and watch it finish. When it's done, we have to start the client with the command 2000G at the Apple, which this dialog box tells us to do. Once the client is running, we want to make a permanent copy of it. So we hit the F key to format a floppy. We pick slot 6, drive 1, and hit return. And then we're asked to name it. The default is fine, so just hit return. And ready to format, Y for yes, and off the drive goes for a while, formatting the disk. When it's done, it asks us if we want to format another. We can hit N for no, and we'll be back at the main menu. Now, we want to receive a bootable image of the ADTPro disk to write on our freshly formatted floppy. We hit R for receive, and give the name of the distribution disk, and then we hit return. It asks the host if it exists, then asks us where to write it. On top of our blank floppy is fine, so we hit return to transfer it there. And the transfer starts. Audio transfers happen at a pretty slow pace, something like 16 minutes for a disk, so it takes a while. We'll speed this way up and just catch the end. And when it's done, we'll have a bootable floppy of the ADTPro distribution disk in our disk drive. We can prove that by rebooting it with that floppy still in the drive. So here goes the reboot. The Apple starts up. Here comes ProDOS. And the welcome program with the various forms of ADTPro to start. We've been using audio, so we'll select that and hit return. And up comes ADTPro again, this time from the disk we just created. And you can now use the receive function to write any disk image you have to a real floppy. Just format and then receive. Thanks for watching. Visit addpro.sourceforge.net for lots more details.